Mr. Dan Perry. He is a former editor-in-chief of AP of Europe and West Asia and Africa, who joins us live from Tel Aviv. First, I'd like to go to Mr. Perry for my question. Mr. Perry, looking at this situation, I'd like to build on my earlier discussion with Mr. Deroche. Isn't it ironic that the only non-Muslim country, which is Israel, has not been targeted this time in the strikes of 13 days by Iran, but it was the GCC countries, the majority Muslim countries, have been attacked. Also, what happened to Hezbollah access that they were emphasizing on earlier? Do you think they have been left in limbo, or do you think that Iran has changed their strategy because they cannot afford to support both Iran, Hezbollah and Houthis this time?
There are a bunch of questions there. As for the last one, I don't think Iran has abandoned Hezbollah so much as that front is more or less quieted down because the Americans have asked the Israelis to basically stop massive attacks and sort of only preserve their positions. And there's a real, actual process that's currently being worked out with the Lebanese government. The Lebanese president was in the U.S. just last week, and there's actually a plan for the Lebanon military to take over certain areas that Israel vacates. Any effort by Hezbollah to mess this up would be very unpopular in Lebanon. So I think that is more of an interregnum, or at least a calm that could be temporary, that certainly has nothing to do with Iran understanding anything. I don't think Iran is capable of understanding very much. You asked, is it ironic that Israel, as a non-Muslim country, has not been attacked, whereas Muslim countries have been attacked?
Yes.
It may seem ironic, but it's also very logical, because Israel is probably the only country in the Middle East that the Iranians have reason to fear. Why attack Israel? In the past, the Iranians might have calculated that an attack on Israel might confuse the Arabs and break up a coalition arrayed against Iran, because the Arabs would refuse to be aligned with Israel, but that no longer works at all because the Arabs, by and large, directly or indirectly, formally or informally, overtly or covertly, have no problem being aligned with Israel, especially when it is against Iran, who is perceived by almost all of them as a far, far, far bigger danger. And one of the reasons why Iran is a far bigger danger is because of these proxy militias. Now, you ask about the Houthis and the Saudis. No one can possibly tolerate the Houthis attacking Saudi energy infrastructure and blocking the Bab el-Mandeb. It's not just about preventing Saudi Arabia from using its backup plan to
yes,
send exports through the Bab el-Mandeb and not the Strait of Hormuz, but it also is devastating to Egypt, which relies on the Suez Canal, which is at the end of the Red Sea, for extremely valuable foreign currency. So the Houthis' outrage is an extension of the Iranian outrage, and I think everyone is scratching their heads trying to figure out what to do when outrages are being committed by parties that don't care really about being attacked and don't care if their population is suffering.
So, Mr. Perry, looking at this, how significant is this continuous support, regardless of the leadership change from UK to Ukraine? And also, do you think this stone cloak electronic warfare in particular can make a difference for Ukraine?
Yeah, I think it's very significant. First of all, it shows that the transition of power in Britain has not changed the commitment to Ukraine. It also, in general, attaches to the overall continental understanding that Europe has to step up for Ukraine, essentially to make up for the lost support on the side of the U.S. These are different things, not the same systems. It's not one for one, But in general, America is making noises that sound like less than fully robust support. It's extremely good that the Europeans understand that Ukraine needs their support and that Ukraine really is fighting for them. Now, the UK has been providing aid to Ukraine. I think around 25 billion pounds in the past 4 years. Since the war broke out, that's about 6 billion pounds a year. Not really a fortune, but it's something. What's remarkable here, though, is not just that that the system is being provided to Ukraine, but that it's a technology transfer of intellectual property, which means that the UK is settling in for a close partnership and one of trust they expect to last a long time. And the system itself is quite important because it basically blocks Russian air defenses from identifying Ukrainian drones, and Ukrainian drones have been critical to the country's ability to fend off the Russians and impose huge losses on Russians. And Russia essentially is without too many good answers, and this is going to leave them more exposed still. So, all in all, a good day for Zelensky.
Right. Thank you very much, Mr. Perry, for sharing that insight.